The Thom Hartmann Program will be right back. But first, our bottom of the hour break with David Feldman.
Bob Saget joins us. You know him from Full House, and he's the voice of Ted Mosby on How I Met Your Mother.
I was, yes. That is history. So is Full House. They're both gone.
America's Funniest Home Videos, and just a terrific stand-up comic.
Still doing that.
And your special is called That's What I'm Talking About.
True Dat.
Your book is fantastic. It's called Dirty Daddy, and I'm reading it right now. I'm not talking to you. I'm reading it right now.
Well, as long as you give my book your full attention, I'm happy.
Dirty Daddy is really funny, and it captures every conversation I've ever had with you. If you want to know Bob Saget, Larry Fine. You hung out with Larry Fine. Who was Larry Fine? How did you meet him? When did you hang out with him, and what was it like?
I was 14 years old. There was an ad in the singles column when an older Jewish man was looking for a young man who had just been bar mitzvahed, and he wanted to. And he was semi-famous from shorts in the 30s.
Who was Larry Fine?
Larry Fine was Larry of the Three Stooges. It was Moe, Larry, and Curly. And Curly was replaced by many, many people because he was a Howard brother. Moe Howard, Larry was not related because he was Larry Fine, and Jerry Howard and Shemp Howard, and they had another brother too. But anyway, I had Larry speak at my junior high school, which was Mulholland Junior High in the San Fernando Valley, and I told my mother I wanted to meet Larry Fine personally because I had seen him speak at the school. He'd had a stroke, and he was on stage in a wheelchair talking about the old films, the shorts that they'd made years before, and how difficult it was. And I was compelled to hear about it. So I had my mother drive me to the Motion Picture Country House and Hospital in Woodland Hills, and I would visit Larry, and he was in a wheelchair, and he'd had a stroke, and it hadn't improved since I'd met him a week before. And I would bring 8mm films because I had these silent films from Blackhawk Films out of Davenport, Iowa, and I ran an 8mm projector in his room. He did not have even what they had called UHF cable at the time, which you used to be able to get with a television set with like an antenna
so he
made out of a hanger.
So he couldn't watch the Three Stooges because they
could not watch his own show that was on TV at that time. It was still running, kind of like syndicated stuff runs all the time today. And
So you sat with Larry from the Three Stooges in a nursing home.
Yes. And
you watched the Three Stooges with him.
Yes, without sound, which is upsetting because the Three Stooges shorts were all like, bing, book, and then you'd hear like the sound. Moe would terribly take a pair of scissors that were supposed to be rubber scissors and get Curly or Larry by the nose and then pull on it, and it was a sound effect of scissors crunching bone, and they would do that after the fact. But that was not audible because it was a silent film I was running for Larry. So it was kind of putting him in a purgatory situation.
And he said that it actually hurt getting punched by Moe.
They would have fake hair extensions put into his hair, which was always set to be pulled out like Bozo the Clown hair. And sometimes Moe would pull on Larry's hair and take some of his real hair with it. Or they would fall on a table and Moe would just keep working with broken ribs, and Larry would have broken ribs and have to keep working. And they didn't own their shows. A producer named Jules White got all the money, and they had a lot of, unrequited financial success.
And you write that seems to be the story of Hollywood.
It seems well, not as much when you look at the people that are really amazing at comedy. That when you look at Will Ferrell or Ben Stiller or Adam Sandler, people that are able to make their movies on their terms, whatever people think, or they're still loving them, and they're true successful comedy stories. But there's a lot of people over the years, more so years ago, that were used and didn't make the Charlie Chaplin money, that were just the most money they ever made. The most money Groucho Marx made, they say, was doing You Bet Your Life over the Marx Brothers films.
Bob Saget's book is Dirty Daddy, and if you want to know what it's like to talk to Bob at 4 a.m, pick up this book, and I'm almost done with it, and it's fantastic.
When you say done with it, you mean you're washing your hands of it?
No, I'm laughing out loud by myself. It's really a great read, and there are parts of your life that are not funny.
Yeah, it can be a sad book.
Yeah, I mean,
At
but
times.
you reminded me of how important comedy is to all of us,
Yeah.
and that we all have sadness in our lives, especially people who've agreed to do my radio show. And
To hear all of David's interviews, go to the website for The David Feldman Show, www.davidfeldmanshow.com. And right now, back to The Tom Hartman Show.